Get ready to listen and comment with Sister Logic. Hi, welcome to another episode of Sister Logic. I got my girl D. Say hi, D.
Hey, everyone.
So today, D, we are going to talk about relationship expectations, dating expectations. Let's talk about that, D. I'm excited to start this off because, you know, women have a certain standard of dating. Men have a certain standard of dating. And a lot of times, I think we as women, we go into it thinking that, you know, I want a guy to be this, and this. Do you think sometimes we have standards that are set sometimes too high? Or do you think it's better just to go for the ride, see how everything's going to work out, or, you know, what direction it may go? What do you think?
I feel like the older we get, I feel like your expectations do change considering what you're younger now. 20-something, I probably was more, let's go with the flow. And, you know, this guy don't work out. I'm like, oh, okay, bye, on to the next one. So I think, and then just trials and tribulations of just going through dating. I feel like you learn something from each relationship. So I feel like you do need to have certain expectations because, I mean, you don't want to just end up with any old thing, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like you definitely need to have some kind of expectations or standards. I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm sure men are the same way. So, I mean, especially when you get to a particular age, it's like, I'm not dealing with this because I don't have to. I don't feel like I have to. It's like, you know, when you're 20, 30, you're like, oh, I want to get married. My friends are getting married. And a lot of times you probably overlook a lot of things. And then when you get into it, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't know this. I didn't know that, because it's an unforeseen. All you're looking at is like kind of like the movie fantasy. Like, I want to get married. And then what happens after we get married? You know what I'm saying? So I think now you've been through a lot of things, so your expectations and what you're looking for definitely changes, I believe.
Right. And you know what? I think a lot of times we as women we try to think like men to think what they would like. But we don't understand that each man is an individual thinker. You know, some may like a big woman. Some might like a slim woman. Some may like a woman who's determined and driven, success driven. Some may like a woman who just wants to take care of the home. So why do we as women go out with all these already preset thoughts of what we think every man wants? Why do we do that?
I think we just kind of get conditioned that way. I think you talk to your friends and then they are kind of thinking the same way, so we only do what we know, you know what I'm saying? So we're following what we've heard or what we've seen other people do or what we saw on TV, and you know, this whole Insta life now everybody has, you know. So I think those kind of things get ingrained in you, and I think we think that men should be mind readers. That's what our problem is. Like, how would I know? Because you should just know. Like, if he's looking at you like you got 4 eyes, like, I should just know what. You should just know what I'm thinking.
You know, and then, you know, another thing that we as women do is that I hear this a lot from a lot of Christian women, or, you know, I'm just going to wait on the Lord. Well, I believe God makes the presentation. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
I think so, too. And I think sometimes we be such a rush that we see red flags and your friends can see it, and we're just looking like, no, but he is the one. Or you trying to make somebody be the one when you probably know deep down you getting that little feeling in your gut like, yeah, he really ain't the one, but I want him to be the one. So it's like you trying to put a square into a circle and it ain't fitting, but you trying to squeeze that square in there. So I think we see something, or we get the visual, we thinking, like, even though he probably doesn't have a lot of the things that you probably checked off on your list, but you're so gung-ho
Right.
to try to make something be something that it's just not going to be.
Right. So do you think it's wrong for women to, if, let's say, for instance, a man is going through a hard time, and maybe right now he isn't working, okay? Do you think, I'm looking at you now, do you think that is a red flag? But let's just say he has goals and he's trying to reach those goals, but maybe right now he's not working for you. Would that be something you'll say, no?
I would probably, like, depending on the type of person, I mean, especially right now, so many people have lost their jobs by no fault of their own. I would probably say let's just be friends because, you know, I mean, that's like me. If I wasn't working, I probably wouldn't be focused on a relationship. I'm trying to get my life back in order. So I would probably more look at you like, we can be friends, you know, but I'm not probably, because I feel like you need to get your stuff in order just like I would feel like I need to get myself in order. So I don't really feel like I would have the energy to focus on a relationship per se full time if I'm still trying to work to get my life back in order.
Right. You know, and that's what I think. I think right at that time, right now he shouldn't be dating because you can't really afford. But somebody might say we may be wrong, Dee, because just because a person isn't working doesn't mean they don't have a great savings account.
That's true too. But I would say like we could be friends. That's why I said let's be friends, because to me, when you're focused on trying to get a job, that means I got bills I'm looking at, or I may have children or whatever obligations I have. So my thing is I probably wouldn't be able to focus my energy on like trying to get into a serious relationship because I'm trying to get my house back in order.
Right. So now men, one of the things that we notice about men is that, again, they know what they want from a woman.
Right.
A lot of men that you and I both have spoke to have said that they feel that sometimes it's not women who feel that they are, what's the word I'm looking for? More success driven than maybe some of the men out here. A lot of men said that is not correct. They said that it's the way sometimes a corporate driven woman, a successful woman, may tend to come off. Maybe they're arrogant sometimes. Maybe they're so focus driven that they don't know how to be nurturing to a man. What do you think about that?
Well, I feel like that maybe that's not the right man for them, or that woman may just not be the right woman for them as far as their personality and their demeanor. I mean, you probably have to get a chance to know someone, just because, you know, when you first meet them, if they come off that way, doesn't mean that they're like that on an everyday basis. So I think it probably would take a little bit of time for you to have a conversation and see how, you know, interact with that person, because when you're working, it's like you've got two different hats on, just like a mom. When she's in mom mode, she has a different hat on. When you are outside of your work, you have a different hat on. So if I wouldn't rule somebody out, I would probably have to have a couple conversations and see. Now, if that's just who you are, then you may not just be the right mix for my personality, and that's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Let me look at this other question that somebody sent to us. They also said that a lot of times some women, will try to try to act as if you're supposed to marry them because of a certain time frame of dating. What do you think about that?
That's true. I think people put expectations on themselves. So,
okay.
I guess it depends on everybody else. Now, for me, probably at this stage in my life, I'm not going to date you for like 5-6 years. That's just me personally. I don't want to.
Right.
Now,
Right.
when I was 20-some years old, that was, and I really didn't want to then, but I probably went
Right.
along
Right.
longer in some relationships than I probably should have. But, and not to say that I'm going to meet you and 5 months later or 5 weeks later, I'm looking like, oh, he's the what? That's going to be my husband.
Right.
No.
Right.
But I feel like you probably have more of an idea of the things that you're looking for and what are deal breakers for you because you've gone through different relationships. So, I mean, I think you get to know a person a lot sooner, and you probably have more questions that you're asking that person to weed them out, even though they may not. Because, you know, me, sometimes I'd be like, you and my our other friend, Christy, I'm like, y'all could have been some reporters, because I'd be like, dang, y'all be grilling folks, but you do it in a way that they don't even know they being grilled.
Right. And, you know, I think that also that it all depends on if that person is dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's.
Right.
But I'm a firm believer, like you, that you should date to really get to know the person. And I think, like you said, and I know some women may be mad with us, but a lot of times we as women, we start looking at our age, we start looking at, oh, the clock is ticking, oh, you know,
Right.
how I don't want to be so old having babies and all this stuff. So
Right.
we tend to try to rush some things, you know, as opposed to really
That's
watching.
true.
Now, my thing is, we both have been married, okay?
Right.
And we're both divorced. Now, here's the question I want to ask. Even if that person dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, there's still no guarantee if your marriage will last. So my question to you is, what type of things do you think you could have done better? And I'll think about things that I could have done better. And both of us did great. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, them jokers fought. No, just
yeah, it was their fault. No, just kidding.
Me personally, I just as things have gone on in my life, I probably could have been a better communicator. I'm one of those people that said, you should just know. Why you ain't a mind reader? So at some point, I'm like, you're not a mind reader. I'm not a mind reader. So it's like,
Right.
You know who me, Tanya. I'm used to, I can hold some stuff in, and all of a sudden I'll blow up like a volcano, and I realize that, that's not a good thing to do either. Because they're looking like, I'm bringing up lists from 5 weeks ago, and they're like, well, dang, where'd that come from? So I think
Right.
I've learned to be a better communicator. That's for sure.
Okay. I think
yourself?
For me, I would say that I think I'm more in love with myself now. Before, I was a people pleaser.
Okay.
Trying to please the family, trying to make sure he was good. Now it's all about, making sure I'm pleased also in everything.
Right.
You think
Right.
I felt like I lost a lot of myself. Yes. Because I was trying so hard to do everything for everyone else. I think now where I am is that a potential mate will get a better benefit. Because when a person is confident in who they are. Yes. How about you? What would your new potential mate get?
Like I said, I'm a better communicator. I think, and that's a big thing because you have to really talk to each other. And I feel like I would be a better friend as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like a better partner. Right. Just because I was younger and I had more of I don't know what my real expectations of what a marriage was when I got into it. Mm-hmm. So I think I have a better idea of going into it. And we think that, we're going to talk about a lot of things before I even got to that point. I even feel like somebody invited me out for, come out and have a birthday drink with them. And normally, if I didn't have like a girlfriend to roll with me, I wasn't going to go. But, hey, I went on and went by myself. So, I don't just roll out by myself to a party like that. So, I feel like it's a better version of me, meaning that I'm more open to different things and open to more partnering with that person on a different level. Like, I just feel like, you know, I've seen some of my friends and they are really great with each other because they actually really are friends and really, really like each other. Not that I didn't feel like I was like that with my last marriage, but I just have a bigger, broader view of what probably goes into being married this time around than I did the first time.
Wow. So that's awesome. So the women and men that are listening into this, I think a lot of women sometimes feel that they give more into the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They feel that they have to, men don't get mad, but women feel that sometimes they have to clean, they still have to work a job, they have to cook, they have to take care of the kids. And when it comes down to that, what I call that adult time,
intimacy,
there you go, they feel sometimes they cannot perform because they're so tired.
They're mentally drained.
How do we handle that, Dee?
Well, I would say this. I'm fortunate to say that anybody that I've dated, they actually are the ones that cook. Anyone else in a relationship, so that was taken off. And they cooked really well. So, you know, I can cook, but I ain't the best. Some of them cook way better than me. Like, okay, hey, your grandmama showed you. Where was I at when I was supposed to be learning how to cook?
Me too.
So I feel like you have to communicate. So even like, well, and my ex, we like, hey, this is a chore. We both clean in this house. We both live in this house. I work every day, so I'm doing my part. You do your part. Where we switching off what chores, or we both had chores and we both was like, hey, I'm not cleaning this whole entire house by myself because I don't live here by myself.
Right.
So if we're in a partnership, that's a partnership all the way around. That comes to cooking, cleaning, with the kids, whatever. It's equal because I'm not. So I feel like if you're doing things and you start feeling overwhelmed, you need to let your partner know, hey, I'm overwhelmed. That's what you got to know, to say I'm overwhelmed, so you won't feel like when it's time to be intimate, you're sitting and looking like, yeah, I'm about to go to sleep. I'm tired. No, ain't nothing popping up.
Right.
You're going to want to because you're not overwhelmed, because that person, you express and let them know how you feel as well. You can't just do. That's why I think I had to learn that instead of holding stuff in, if I'm feeling some kind of way, you need to express it, because that other person is not a mind reader. Like, real talk.
Right. But do you think, like, I and this is how I feel, that a lot of women or men don't want to, I think they pick their battles. And the reason why they do that is because if I keep coming to this person about the things that they do wrong, we're going to have a big argument. Right. So in that, you're walking around on eggshells and you're still not getting what you really need from that mate. So it's
well, when they
and
come
I
home
believe
and ain't
communication.
No food.
What'd you say?
When they come home and ain't no food in that kitchen, and you sit around looking like, dang, I got to eat another peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, then you might want to. Okay, what's the problem? What's the problem?
Right. So communication is definitely key, and that's something that's for dating, engagement, as well as marriage. Communication. We talked about that.
We talked about the other person. Not taking advantage of the other person. And I think a lot of times some people could be just natural, more caretakers or more naturally givers, that they just do stuff to their own detriment sometimes because that's just naturally how you are. But someone that you're with, they need to recognize, like, okay, she doing, like, you got to recognize that this person is doing everything. What am I doing? Because some people are just naturally, like, they just come in and just do everything. That's just how they are. But you got to recognize and be like, let me come help you. Let me help you do this. You see, no magic elves ain't up in here maintaining this whole big old house. So you got to help that person.
Right. So when going back to dating, when you're dating, this is something you need to see.
Yes.
If that person comes over and cooks a meal, let's just say, cooks a meal, could be male or female, and they don't clean up after themselves, or if you cook the meal and that other person doesn't offer to clean up, that's probably an indication that this person is not, you know, observant and watching and saying, and that type of person that says, oh, let me get up and, you know, help
her or help him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And not realizing that person that's cooking all the food is sitting there watching you like, so you just ain't going to come help do nothing? Another thing I think, too, especially when you get older and as people have kids, you have to date to see how they interact with their kids and their kids' mother and father, because that is a lot when you're dealing with people that have kids as well, and how they maneuver, because you're going to be a part of that if it goes down that path. So you got to see how you feel you can fit in there, or if you don't think that this is something that you can fit into and be a part of, because it's a lot when you have co-parent in different households, and you got intermingled kids too. So that's a lot to look at when you're dating as well, because that gets real touchy.
And you know what? Another thing is the family culture.
Yes.
If this family always comes together on all holidays, or if Christmas they give everyone in the family a gift, you got to be able to say, dog, do I want to be a part of that? You know?
That's true, too.
That means I got to give out 17 gifts to all these people every, you know, Christmas or something. Or every holiday, his family is strong about everybody being together. That means I can't be with my family on certain. You get what I'm saying? And not have my boyfriend